Hey, Alice, could you grab me my tacos? I left them in the fridge. Why are you screaming? Just tacos? Oh shit, look right behind you. Oh, fuck. All over my tacos. Friday the 13th, Part 2. This thing was produced and directed by Steve Miner, and it was written by Ron Kurz. After the global success of the first film, Paramount Pictures said, hey, we need more of these crazy-ass slasher films because they're making a ton of money. So, a year after the first film, we get Friday the 13th, Part 2.
Friday the 13th, Part 2. The body count continues.
This film, it's interesting. There are some things I liked a lot, and then there were some things I didn't like at all, kind of like the first film. But I want to run through the basic plot of this thing first. So this thing opens up with what we just saw, our girl Alice from the first movie, going through some trauma, going through some hard times from the things she had to endure. Yeah, I would be feeling some type of way too. She saw all of her, well, I guess friends, they weren't really her friends, so to speak, they were just more of her coworkers, get brutally murdered, and she was the only survivor. Well, as she's tossing and turning and being very paranoid, she forgets the oldest trick in the book, opening up the fridge. Alice, come on. You don't open up the fridge, because when she does, yeah. She gets killed pretty brutally, and after I saw that, I was kind of like, whoa, what the fuck? This movie's about to be insane. They just killed off the final girl from the last film. I thought she was going to be the main person. Clearly not. She's dead as shit. Okay, I was ready. We then meet Jeff and Sandra, played by Bill Randolph and Marta Kober.
Left down an old dirt road for half a mile.
Oh my God! They're towing us!
Oh shit, Ted, I'll call you back. Hey, wait!
Jeff and Sandra are two young guns looking for work. And, well, when they heard about the job to become potential camp counselors, they couldn't pass it up, even if it was near the infamous Camp Crystal Lake. That doesn't matter because, hey, they need that dough. So they're making their way over to where they need to be, and we get to see some familiar faces. It was awesome to see Crazy Ralph again because he was a highlight of the first film. He was just a crazy son of a bitch who told everyone they were doomed, and he was perfect. Well, our two lovebirds make it to their work site, and that is where we get to meet the rest of the to-be counselors because they're not officially counselors yet. In this film, all these people are training to be counselors. So like the first movie, there's no actual campers. It's strictly just the counselors we're focusing on. As we get to the main work site, the camp location, where all of the other to-be counselors are at, we meet the head honcho, the main man, the literal boss, Paul.
Well, what is this crap, Ginny? You're supposed to be my assistant. Everyone else got here hours ago.
I said I was sorry.
You did?
Now, Paul is pretty cool character. He, honestly, him and Ginny, they're kind of the only two characters we get actual decent character work with. We spend a lot of time with these two. Quickly, we know that they have a romance with each other, and the thing is, though, they are kind of the leaders of this whole thing, so they need to stay professional. Yeah, of course. The rest of the to-be counselors, there is some really good ones, like Tom McBride playing Mark, and Lori Marie Taylor playing Vicky.
Hey, you staying?
Yeah. Nothing spoils a party faster than a drunk in a wheelchair.
That's crap. Look, we can go together if you want.
I appreciate that.
They have an interesting little romance as well, and I kind of like the flirtation going on between the two, but we don't really spend any time with them. We also have a potential candidate for one of the horniest movie characters of all time, Scott. This guy is so horny. Just look at this clip.
Why would you do that?
He does something similar later on.
Looking for something?
What the fuck? He's insane.
Where is she?
And then literally, like, the other counselors, besides Ted, I guess, who, again, we don't get a lot of to see, they, like, have no lines. They don't do shit. They're literally just filling in the background. Some people start getting killed off, which the kills in this movie are pretty decent. I like them. We see a decent amount, but I just kind of wish for most of them that we would have seen more. It's a little bit of a letdown when the camera goes away too fast and we don't get to see that complete kill. So when they are all going swimming, Sandra and Jeff decide to sneak off to see old Camp Crystal Lake after Paul gives an excellent story about the legend of Jason Voorhees.
Have you listened to the old timers in town? They'll tell you he's still out there. Some sort of demented creature. Surviving in the wilderness. Full grown by now.
They want to check it out, and they do. Well, this ends pretty short when Officer Winslow shows up and busts the party. And then we have an insanely long chase sequence as Officer Winslow's chasing down Jason, even though he doesn't know it's Jason, through the woods, back to the cabin. It takes forever.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
Bruh.
There's a point in this film where half of the counselors are going to a bar and the other half are staying behind. And this is where all of those extra characters, all of those side pieces just disappear. They're not in it for the whole entire movie. Like, they're just gone. You can forget about them. Ginny, Paul, and Ted have a conversation about the legend of Jason again. And Ted and Paul are saying it's bullshit, but Ginny really believes. And, you know, Ginny is pretty fucking good.
What if there is a Jason?
Oh, bullshit. Ginny?
No, what if there is some kind of boy or beast running around Camp Crystal Lake? I mean, let's try to think beyond the legend.
Turns out to be our final girl, as we see when the counselors come back and pretty much everyone's dead. It's just Ginny and Paul. They are fighting for their lives against Jason. Jason in this film, he's kind of weak. I mean, like, he kind of gets pushed around, he's kind of falling around, a little clumsy, a little silly. Yeah, he kind of gets his ass kicked a little bit. We have this final climax of the movie where Ginny's running away. We think Paul's dead. Ginny finds the cabin, finds Mrs. Voorhees' head, puts on her friggin' parka, I don't know what the fuck to call it, and pretends she is Mrs. Voorhees. Jason falls for it. She gets the machete into him. They think he's dead. Paul makes a return. Total fake out.
Fatality.
And what happens? They go back, they're sitting in the room, jump scare to end the film. Hell yeah, just like the first movie. Why would you not do it? I think the atmosphere in this one works better than the first movie. I wasn't around in the 1980s, so I wasn't alive to see these things come out when they did. But when I watched this one, it felt more like a Friday the 13th movie to me, even though I haven't seen them all. Just like what I envision in my head, that's kind of what I imagine. And this movie pulls that off. I think the shots that Steve Miner drew up and completed worked really well as well. There's a lot of tracking scenes, there's a lot of long shots that I do enjoy. The kills combined with that and everything else are pretty decent, like I said. They're not the best, but they're not the worst. Obviously, Tom Savini didn't work on this one, but still. Also, a lot of the things that Steve Miner sets up have great payoffs towards the end of the film. Like Ginny's car not starting in the beginning and her trying to use it in the end. It's not working. It wasn't working in the beginning. Yeah, they get it fixed, but we know it has problems. Things like that work, and I like that. But then there's things that don't have any payoff and seem kind of pointless. Like that long chase scene with the cop. It just takes forever, and the death is pretty lame. Having all those extra characters, it fills the scenes, adds extra bodies to the movie, but who are they? They aren't doing anything. The two leads, like I said, they were much stronger than the leads in the first film. They had great chemistry, they were working really well off of each other, and I like Ginny as that final girl. I thought she was pretty kick-ass. She believed in Jason's legend. She fought him pretty well. And even though that jump scare is, I mean, you can compare it with the first movie, how it ends. I kind of like this one better. I thought it was cooler, and I thought that visual of Jason was awesome. And now let's talk about Jason. Yeah, he's clumsy, like I said. He gets his ass kicked. But for some reason, I kind of like Jason wearing the sack over his face. Obviously, we know him with the hockey mask, but this first rendition of Jason, you know, the very first time we really see him taking fucking lives in this series, kind of like his look. Doesn't feel like he's an unstoppable force. Doesn't feel like he is a zombie, really, even though he kind of is at this point. He just feels like a killer, and I like that. I'm interested to see how they keep developing him as the series goes along. Like I said, I've seen a few of the other films, but I haven't seen most of them. This film, for the most part, felt like a lot like the first one. The story wasn't that strong, not a lot of shit was going on, but I liked the character work more. I think the characters that we at least did focus on in this movie were better. There's also some interesting edits and then some weird edits that this movie also pulls off. Like, there's an edit where we have Jason out in the woods and the little dog Muffin runs up to him. Immediately cuts to them grilling hot dogs. Funny, clever, awesome. But then we have, like, towards the end when Ginny's running away from Jason, and there's just like these weird edits that go to the moon and then like back to her and then back to the moon. I think it does like twice, and it's like, how long has she been running? Is that what it's trying to tell us? Like, I don't get it. And I mean, what else do we want from these movies? We want to see kills, we want to have a cool Jason, and we want to just have a good time. And I had an alright time. I think this movie, in my opinion, is somewhere around 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10. I think it's a little bit better than the first, not a lot. It's not one that I'm thinking I'm gonna be like rewatching all the time. It's not one that's gonna go up like to one of my favorite horror movies of all time. I think it was just a good enough slasher flick. If you like this review, consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel. Thanks, guys. See you later.